Hey guys, Joe here with another uh, late night session kind of rant. So what we're going to talk about today is, I don't know. I mean, the last time I kind of talked about my aspirations and talked about my goals. Well, I guess I can kind of talk about where um kind of this mentality um kind of like my journey of you know how I got to kind of where I am right now. um the first thing I would say is, listen, I talked about financial freedom, but I first started on kind of like that path when hearing my siblings, excuse me, talk about their complaints about work. My parents could talk about their complaints about work. Um, and it's not so much, everybody's tired with work, but and maybe in a negative sense to where it's like, oh, nobody just wants to do anything, but also in the sense to where it's like somebody else is responsible for your schedule, your timing. If they want you to work longer hours, to where it's like you feel, people feel the burnout, and that's purely what it is, um and I think the problem is that when people say they don't want to work, is not the fact that maybe they legitimately don't want to work and they just want to be lazy. Maybe I'm sure there's a bit of that, but it's also the things that I just said. You don't want to have your schedule controlled by somebody else. You don't want to go in to work doing things that don't make you fulfilled as a person. And definitely you don't want to deal with things that you don't like, for most of the time, and work long hours doing it, because they say that it's going to be 8 to 5, but really it's like 8 to 7. And you might get a lunch break, or you might have to work through your lunch break, and then it's like it's high anxiety and highly stressful, and it's decline on mental health, and people are calling in sick more, and people are taking vacations more, or flying more, or whatever the case may be. And it doesn't it leads to bad company morale. So, like I said, in my situation, I see all these complaints, and not just from like the people that are in my family, but people I know, people on YouTube, and you kind of get this general sense of like the traditional way of doing things. First of all, we're in a new era. The traditional way of doing things, it doesn't work for all the people no more. And it works for some people who's mentally like that, who's mentally like straight edge, who's mentally like traditional in their path, traditional in their undertaking of their responsibilities, and there's some utility in that. But the things in which they want requires that those same people want requires an untraditional route, you know, which is how I got to, where I am talking about financial freedom. I want to be financially free. I'm financially free to a degree. And I say to the degree because, there's some stuff that I haven't grasped yet financially. Only thing I can say is that 2 years out of college, I was able to pay off all my student loans. And I kind of did that with, Dave Ramsey. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but Dave Ramsey's kind of baby steps. And to be honest, I didn't follow it to a T. But before I tried it, I watched YouTube videos on other people trying it to see if what they did, and they didn't do theirs to a T either. Whether you like Dave Ramsey or not, that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm trying to say is, does his thing have merit? Does the core concept of what he's saying have merit? And I found that it does. I was able to clear my college debt out in less than 2 years of graduating, with pretty much $20,000 of debt, So, I mean, there's a way to do it. You have to strategize for it, and I'm not saying that breaks didn't come my way, because they did. I did have scholarships that allowed it to be that low in the first place. And then I worked jobs to where it's like all I did was literally just threw money at it, continuously threw money at it. Like, there was times to where I would just drop a K and a half, and in student loans, when my payment was basically $200. It was almost $200. I believe it was $190 something, $195, $192, somewhere around there. But I would end up saying, you know what, instead of paying the $200, I'm probably going to pay $300 or $600 or $500. Sometimes I would drop a K and a half. There was maybe a time or two to where I did $3K on it, just because I was listen, I'm in a place to where it's I can save up enough money and do this. And then there was a time to where I was probably for months to where I was paying $300 something every week, because I was getting paid every week. That's what I did. And then I didn't go out as much, out to eat. That's what I mean. I didn't go out to eat as much as I did before. I was this $20 that I'm saving, or $15 that I'm saving, that's going to go to, I saved enough for gas to get me to work and back. And, luckily in some of those situations, I work close to home. So I didn't really, and then my car also had high gas mileage. So it's I didn't have to fill up for every, I didn't have to fill up until 2 weeks later, so there was some strategy that took place. There was some calculation that took place. I didn't have the expenses of a typical person my age. So and that's just me being honest, so it's I had a lot of breaks, man. So maybe there'll be a tip video later on, if you're going into college, although I don't know how it's going to be now with the whole COVID situation. People are talking about student loans and how that's going to work. I don't know how that's going to work, but I wanted to put that out there to basically say there's a way to do it. If I can be financially free, or if you can be financially free as soon as possible, go ahead, learn your craft, whatever you're going to college for, and stick with that. And hopefully it'll lead to a high-paying job or a higher-paying job, so that all that money, as much as possible, it will be yours. And you don't have to You don't have to lose 200 or 300 or 400 or whatever the amount is per month because you're trying to pay down student debt, right? Save that money, pocket that money. If a person is making $30,000 a year before taxes and maybe like $25,000 a year, or whatever the case is, it's not going to be that high, but after taxes, but I mean, it's not going to be that low after taxes, I don't think. But if there's some way that you can do that, by all means do that, instead of losing out an additional like 5% of your gross income. Have as much money be yours as much as possible, and then spend those like one-time things, and then budget that out. There's a real utility in that. So maybe next time when we do a video, or sometime in the future, I don't know when, if I want to do a tip video, I might do a tip video, and it might be more organized, because really how I film these videos are like straight off the head. I rant and I shoot from the hip, so that's just what it is for me. So I wanted to get you guys' opinion about what I said. Please comment on the video if you would like to engage. Please subscribe, hit that like button, hit that notification bell, because I know that's important, so you can be up to date on what we're talking about, and that way you can see the next videos coming, see how to inspire people, and encourage me trying to help me help other people. That's pretty much what I'm getting at. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.